Good morning, everyone, and welcome to BGA's Tuesday Morning Coffee Talk. These are our weekly sessions where we provide industry insights to agents. We share product updates, market trends, policy changes, and marketing that help agents find the sales to grow their business. We post these on YouTube every Tuesday, and for our listeners on Apple and Spotify podcasts. My name is Trent Zimmerman. I'm your host, and this week we're joined by Kevin Brayton, Executive Vice President of Business Growth, Market Expansion at Prudential Financial. Thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Well, thank you, Trent. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
So, as always, before we get into Prue, I want to talk about you before. University of Connecticut and men's soccer player. What position were you playing there?
Well, that was a long time ago. That was 30 plus years ago, but I was, believe it or not, I was a forward. I was tall, fast, and skinny at that time.
And still, I hear involved with the sport.
Very much so. Yeah. It's a passion of mine. I coached both of my kids growing up. I'm still actively coaching my high schooler and, have some other opportunities to stay involved, in the game, both here and overseas.
Good. Am I allowed to ask you about that here?
Sure. Yeah, I'm exploring an opportunity with some friends to invest in a Premier League Irish team called Dundalk FC. And some friends of mine in the business that most of you would also know are from Ireland. And we came across this opportunity and are going to jump at it. So
it's going to be awesome. Well, so let's get to you and your family. The power of life insurance is no more relevant than with you and your family. And can you just expand on that a little bit for us?
Yeah. I think I've always had a passion and a belief about leaving a legacy and about protecting those around me. And I believe that's my primary role as a husband, a father, a colleague, a brother, a son, a friend, and so forth, is to provide and protect for my loved ones. And I got very into financial services at a very early age and really enjoyed that, and really kind of living in the Hartford, Connecticut and the Springfield, Massachusetts area my entire life. Life insurance and life insurance companies seem to be a natural fit for me. So I've been in the business for 30 years now and have always been squarely focused on the individual life side of the business.
Right. Well, as well as that, diabetes is something that you often talk about, and it's impacted you and your family with your children having onset type 1 diabetes. And I understand from what I've heard about you and what I've seen with you, you wear your emotions on your sleeve and you're pretty open about your experience. So can you expand on how this impacts you and your family?
Yeah, absolutely. And your dad, Barry, and your mom were kind enough to come to a City of Hope event last year. And you're right, both of my kids have type 1 diabetes. My son was diagnosed at age 2. My daughter was diagnosed at age 11. They're both healthy and thriving young adults right now, and they are well managed and well cared for. The good news is this is an autoimmune disease that is treatable and is manageable, but it requires around the clock care and attention and focus. So, last year, the City of Hope is an organization that I'm very involved in. And in fact, with some other friends in the industry, about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we founded a National Life Insurance Council to benefit the City of Hope. And the City of Hope, for many West Coasters, you would know and recognize that as a cancer facility, a cancer research and treatment facility, which is on the leading edge of finding cures and treatments for all sorts of cancers. Well, what a lot of people might not recognize is they are also a world-renowned diabetes research and treatment center as well. So they are on the forefront of some very exciting things that are happening with that disease. They, in fact, had the doctor, Dr. Arthur Riggs, who really developed, he and his team developed human insulin, human synthetic insulin. And, he devoted his life and to finding a cure for diabetes. And last year, through the National Life Insurance Council, I was lucky enough and honored and blessed to be their Spirit of Life honoree. And we raised over $1 million last year during my campaign. And that all went to funding research for type 1 diabetes at the City of Hope.
So how long then have you been working on this project?
Yeah, so, I have been involved with the National Life Insurance Council for 10 years, clearly. But, the type 1 diabetes effort, my son is 17 now. So for past 15 years, this disease has been a major part of my wife and my children and my life. So, we've gotten it to a point where the children now are old enough and they can manage it, and they do a wonderful job managing it. But that doesn't ever stop, the worries that you have as a parent, and especially my wife.
So something I heard from that City of Hope event is wanting just a day off. And
Yeah.
you've dealt with this then for many years and been involved with funding a cure for the last 10. From your experience as somebody who has parented type 1 diabetes and now involved in looking for a cure, what's the difference between where it was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and now?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think the technology and the advances in technology are, just incredible what they have done in order to basically monitor your glucose on a continuous basis. And then also deliver insulin at the exact time that you need it, or to back off delivering insulin when you need to as well. So technology today has really advanced the disease. Also, technology and the types of insulin that are given to people today is certainly much better than it was, a decade ago or 2 decades ago. It's much better insulin. It's faster acting insulin. It's longer lasting insulin as well. That's all good. But at the end of the day, I think you made the comment about, getting a day off or getting a good night's sleep. You're right. It's a disease that you really have to pay a lot of attention to. You have to pay attention to whether your children or whoever has the disease is eating enough, eating too much, drinking enough, drinking too little, whether they are active or whether they are sedentary. And then especially when they are sleeping. So could be a dangerous time, at least for our family. And with our son, between the hours of really 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Have always been a pretty challenging time where he would dip pretty low. So the technological advances with the pods and the devices that they wear on their body is a godsend to people like us that are able to now get a good night's sleep and rest throughout the entire night, knowing that the kids will not dip too low and go into a diabetic coma or something terrible like that.
Yeah. Do you think we're seeing the light of a day off at the end of the tunnel now?
I hope so. I hope so. There's a lot of promising work that's going on both at City of Hope and organizations like the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, the JDRF, which I'm also, very engaged and involved in. And, our hope, for at least for my family, is that, sometime in our lifetime we see a cure. And I believe that wholeheartedly that we will see that.
That's awesome. Well, I'll reel it in. I could probably keep asking you questions about that for the entirety of this interview, but let's get back to life insurance. You grew up in the hub of life insurance. And so it was, as you said, on your radar, but how did you end up truly in the industry and then with Peru?
Yeah, so I came out of, like, my whole life I've been, really in the Hartford, Connecticut, Springfield, Massachusetts area. I was born and raised right out of Springfield, Massachusetts. Went to school for undergrad, 30 miles down the road. Went to school 30 miles up the road at University of Massachusetts for my graduate degree. Started my career at Merrill Lynch back when Merrill Lynch had an insurance company. It was the old Merrill Lynch Insurance Group, and they were a manufacturer and obviously a distributor of life insurance. Started my career there. Found my way to Phoenix Home Life shortly after that, down in Hartford, Connecticut. And then, really with kind of, two experiences at really a manufacturer level, which is really a lot of what's here in Hartford, Connecticut is insurance companies and manufacturers. I actually went to National Financial Partners, and I spent almost a decade there, which really squarely put me on the distributor side, which is where I really found my passion for, working with advisors, understanding, customers' wants and needs, and, how this stuff is sold and where the opportunities are. So I got to Prudential after NFP because I went for a very brief period of time, only about 18 months. I was at Hartford. And as you might recall, Hartford was acquired by Prudential in 2013. Actually 2012, but we officially became employees of Prudential on January 1st of 2013. And I've been here ever since, and I fully intend and plan on being here for the rest of my career.
Well, now you're at the helm, and I want to explore what your vision is. What direction do you want to take Prudential into?
Yeah, I think there's just so much opportunity out there with whether you look at it from the market segmentation aspect of it. And, we have over 100 million households here in the United States that are either underinsured or uninsured. We are in the midst of a $13 trillion insurance gap here in the United States. We're also right at the beginning phases of a very significant, nearly a $40 trillion wealth transfer that will happen over the next 2 decades. So I think all of those things line up very, very nicely for large scale manufacturers that have not only the capabilities to build the right solutions and bring it to marketplace, but the right surround capabilities to be able to do that. And what I mean by that is Prudential is not just a life insurance company. We have, a highly complementary set of businesses, both domestically and internationally. We are certainly a top 5 life insurance player here in the US. We are also a top 10 global asset manager. We are a top 10 annuity player. We have significant access in the group insurance marketplace as well as the PRT or the institutional retirement space as well. So a lot of those things really, position Prudential extremely well for what the future holds, and with big things on people's minds like wealth transfer or like income planning for retirement. I think there's no better place to be than in the life insurance business. So what you'll see out of us is a lot of product development. Both on our core insurance side, think of that as fully underwritten life insurance that we're trying to make better, that we're trying to price more competitively for consumers, that we're trying to innovate around and solve new and differentiated solutions for them. And also trying to make that experience much better for the consumer and the advisor, trying to shorten the time it takes to actually assess the risk, trying to use data and analytics and information that is readily available in the public domain so that we can underwrite and assess the risk appropriately. But then also we're entering new markets, right? Some of those markets we are developing, and they are, markets that we truly believe in. Like the women's market and the Black American experience with life insurance. And then other markets that we are relatively new entrants in, but we believe that there is a significant opportunity for a large-scale brand name company like Prudential to enter that marketplace with the right partners and the right solutions and make a difference in this insurance gap that we see across America, and particularly across middle America. So that's what I would refer to as really our simplified solutions. So where you're seeing Prudential move is really into a more simplified positioning of life insurance. So I mentioned our core and the opportunities there, but we're also standing up really a second business within the individual life business, and that is to go after that middle America. It's going after the insurance gap. It's going after the people that either don't work with an advisor today or haven't been presented with the solutions of life insurance, by their advisor. And we're trying to break that code, and we're trying to do that by simplifying the experience, making simplified issue life insurance products, decreasing term products, level term products. We have a final expense product that is in the marketplace today. So all new and relatively new things that Prudential is doing, but really excited to go after these untapped markets.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, if you don't mind, about some of these targeted product offerings and dive into first the fact that you guys are a leader in building networks for women in financial planning in the insurance industry in order to start closing that gap there for the insurance for women. So how is that initiative going, and what have you seen come out of it so far?
Yeah, so this is really we've had a focus on the women's marketplace, for a number of years now, but it was just about 4 or 5 years ago that we started partnering with many of the BGAs and the BGA principals and advisors in the marketplace that are females and looking to have different experiences and looking to partner with us as a carrier of choice to help them focus on delivering the financial services and solutions to the women's marketplace. We've tagged this and branded this as Virago, and we have it each year right around the May or June timeframe in Minneapolis. And it's a time for 50 to 75 of our very best female producers and BGA principals to come together, not only to connect as a group of successful women, but also to really learn and become educated on the selling strategies, the selling techniques, the products, services, capabilities that a carrier like Prudential can bring to them in their businesses. And then also make certainly new connections. And those are connections that certainly involve us, at the executive level within Prudential, which always helps, with our distribution partners, but also connections externally, because we do bring a lot of content in and a lot of subject matter experts from around the industry that are there to network and develop relationships with these women. So overall, we are very pleased with, standing that up. I can't tell you the exact number of, female producers that are now selling, but I do know that it's in excess of 10% more than what was selling just 3 or 4 years ago. So we believe that there's a lot of runway there, and we're just going to look to continue to expand that Virago event.
Great. Now, another market sector that you were talking about penetrating is Black America, and I know you have an initiative there for called Blueprints for Black Wealth. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Blueprints to Black Wealth, here's a really interesting story, because this is really a enterprise-wide business strategy. And we believe at Prudential that if we are doing right by society, then each of our businesses will do right and will be in better shape by doing right and serving society. So, that's kind of easy to say, but, the reality is over the last 50 years, Prudential has been making selective and significant investments into the Black communities, primarily in the Newark, New Jersey area where our corporate headquarters are. But the point is we have been investing in Black businesses, Black communities, Black social networks for the past 50 years. And just about 2 years ago, we started thinking about how can we leverage the efforts of our foundation, because our foundation at Prudential is pretty significant, and that's what we do within our communities. And how do we then take what we're doing in those communities to better society? How do we educate? How do we allow access to more individuals that are in these communities? How do we provide the right tools and services, as well as the right education for them to grow up and close that wealth gap that Black America sees today? So we really started to look at the past 50 years of what we did. We started to look at what the opportunity is for our business going forward, and we really stitched those two together. And what we have now is we have an instance where we have expanded our community involvement to include Detroit, Newark, New Jersey, and Atlanta, Georgia. We are partnering with a significant number of community leaders, Black-owned business entrepreneurs. We are partnering in the city of Detroit with people that are in the mortgage business to try and solve the crisis that is there for Black Americans that need housing. We are trying to solve in Newark, New Jersey, the education gap for Black Americans. So what we're doing is we're trying to bring those resources, and we are partnering at first with our own Prudential advisors to work within those networks and in those communities to deliver the financial services and the solutions that they need. But we'll be expanding that to third parties as well. And we think that there's just an incredible opportunity to take the partnerships that we have, whether it's with Baptist and Christian churches, or whether it's with local entrepreneurs that are trying to drive financial education, whether it's with local sororities or fraternities that are embedded in the Black community, or even the HBCUs. We're doing deep partnerships to bring this strategy to life.
So we've talked about breaking into the women's market sector and breaking into Black America, and you mentioned another piece just being a large swath of middle America being underinsured. And this is a topic we've explored in a lot of these podcasts, is insurance being something that needs to be sold, explained, educated on. But you also have expanded your offerings, simplified issue term, decreasing term, final expense. What are your initiatives there built around those products to close that gap in middle America as well?
Yeah. So I'd first start by completely agreeing with you that our solutions and life insurance is a highly complex product. No matter how easy we make it, from a simplified issue standpoint, and answering a few questions, the idea of life insurance is still complex, and it is still a challenge for consumers to really wrap their brains around and get them to focus on it. As you know, it's not used during the insured's lifetime for the most part. They have to face their mortality and talk about death and consider those things. It's not required. It's discretionary income and assets that are used to fund the insurance vehicles. So there's all those things that are working against us in this industry. So, I don't believe that direct to consumer sales is really ever going to take off in our business. I think that you need the expertise of advisors to be at the table with consumers. I do think that we can make it a whole lot easier for different types of advisors or different types of people that have customer relationships to be able to engage in these conversations and meet the customer where they are. Because middle America really, by large part, unfortunately, they're not served by financial advisors, and financial advisors don't go downstream to meet them at middle America or Main Street. And those consumers don't believe they have enough assets, and they don't have enough trust to go upstream and potentially work with an advisor. So we think that banks and credit unions, we think that, different types of agents and advisors that are available in the marketplace, as well as other types of partnerships, for example, that might be adjacent to the financial services business, and have some similarities to when a customer is making a purchase of, say, a mortgage, then, they're thinking about their financial future and how do you cover and protect that mortgage if something were to happen with one of the, key owners of the home. So, some of the initiatives that we have going on specifically is we are partnering with someone to bring a simplified issue level term product on a wholesale basis to over 800 credit unions that are in the middle market space, many of them serving Black communities today, a simplified issue level term product. We have partnered with Assurance IQ, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Prudential, and we've also partnered with a third party that's in the space of having over 700 agents out there in community, in the Hispanic community, in the Asian community, as well as the Black community, to deliver a simplified issue final expense product that we developed in concert with one of our reinsurance partners. And then lastly, we're partnering with a major online mortgage lender that will, the idea is that we will embed a simplified issue decreasing term within their online mortgage underwriting process. So you go through the entire mortgage process. It might take you 20 minutes to, get underwritten for a mortgage. And then at the end of that, there will be an option of including protection on that. So we think embedded insurance in those types of ecosystems and environments would certainly help. And we think that there's a lot of opportunity in that space. And the way that it's actually all powered here at Prudential is really interesting because, we have a unique capability at Prudential where we stood up a company within the four walls of Prudential. This company is called High Peak. And what we did is we took the 6 million customers that we have in our in-force book of business. We went out to third-party data analytics companies that had lots of data to also put into these pools. And then we partnered with reinsurance companies to take data that they have. Ultimately, what this creates is a pool of people that is over 15 million people strong. And what we've done is we've applied some, algorithms to that and data science to that, all stuff that's, way over my head. But at the end of the day, what we're able to do is develop what we call a PRU score. And the PRU score ultimately tells you things like your likelihood to reach a certain age, so longevity. We also believe that there's so much rich data in this set of 15 million plus consumers that we, with a very high degree of accuracy, will be able to instantly assess risk on simplified issue type products. So we think that that is a unique advantage that we have that we can bring to the marketplace and we can commercialize in very big ways that will help us then reach consumers, where they are in the middle market, but also do it in a way that is quick and seamless and easy and cheap and accurate for them when and where they're thinking about their financial lives to purchase life insurance.
I mean, that PRU score seems like it expands out of the middle market to revolutionizing how you guys do underwriting. I mean, what are you seeing downstream of when this is going to become a major part of your underwriting process?
Yeah, I think I still think we're a ways away right now from, having it take on, significant risk for us. We still, there's still a lot of underwriting that's involved, obviously, at the APS level and things that you have to get from doctors to underwrite large cases. But on cases that are, up to $1 million, this right now is showing significant promise for us. So we are starting small with our simplified issue products and solutions that we're putting in marketplace now. But I would anticipate, in the very near future, meaning next, 12 months, we will be exploring utilizing this in complement to the Pru fast track underwriting that we do today, which is ultimately automated underwriting that checks a lot of boxes and looks at, the manual and says, if you have, 80% of this already captured, then let's go ahead and approve the case. We think that we can flip that upside down and actually assess the risk for a good bulk of these smaller cases that we do, which certainly frees up a lot of time, frees up a lot of resources, and ultimately frees up a lot of capital that we can put back into pricing the products in a way that consumers are going to want.
Great. Now, circling back to something I wanted to touch on earlier, FlexGuard Life, new innovative product from you guys, and I want to see, where do you see this fitting in your markets and in your corporate strategy?
Yeah, FlexGuard, we are really excited about FlexGuard Life. It's it's not only a new product, but it's an entirely new product category for the life insurance industry. It's really combining the best of two product lines that have seen significant growth over the last couple of years, which is, IUL and VUL. It is a registered product, but it is a buffered product where, you can dial in your length of guarantee, either to age 90 or even a lifetime guarantee on this product. And what we offer is we offer buffered strategies on this. 3 different types of options or flavors of the product that you can get. You can and be protected on the first 10% of any down market, and be capped at pretty high cap rates on the upside as well for positive returns in the market. Where we're seeing this be a really good option is for clients that have policy review opportunities and 1035 exchanges. Because of the buffered solutions and because of the way in which we design the product, oftentimes short pay scenarios or even single pay scenarios are a much better and much less expensive option than buying, fully guaranteed VUL or fully guaranteed IUL types of solutions that are out there in the marketplace. So we're excited about it. It's been on the market for a little over a year right now. We are thrilled, and we see that this being, in fact, we just start wrapping up, the first few months of this year. And this is one of the fastest growing segments of products that we have in our portfolio. And I would say that we have a pretty broad and far-reaching portfolio of about 17 or 18 different products that are out there. This product, FlexGuard Life, is leading the charge in terms of growth.
That's great. And from everything that you're talking about, you're positioning the company in a lot of growth sectors. And so the next 5-10 years are looking very exciting for Prudential. What are you hoping to see? What's your vision of what that will look like in the next 5-10 years of growth?
Yeah, if I had to paint a picture for what success, would look like in that, 5 to 10 year period for us. Today we have about 6 million in-force customers. Today, we are the number 2 insurance company, by sales in the US market. We write about $750 million of target premium, or weighted premium is how we measure it, which is a LIMRA statistic. We underwrite probably close to 175,000 individual lives. and we end up placing about 100,000, 110,000 lives on any given year. So if that's the baseline and where we're at today, what I would say, in the next 5 years, a few things. One, we have aspirations and we have a strong desire and a drive to be the number one life insurance company by sales in the US. We have an aspiration to do more than $2 billion of sales sometime in the next decade, $1 billion of sales by 2025. So we've got significant growth targets ahead of us. We would also think that, success would be measured by the number of customers that we are insuring. So today, that's about 110,000 lives. I think 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we should be insuring over 500,000 lives a year. So that's an aspiration that we have. Today, we do business with about 25,000 unique advisors on an annual basis. I think we should expand that and we should be doubling that over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. And then, lastly, I think we should be making a significant dent in these underserved communities. And I'll just take the Blueprints to Black Wealth as one example. Today, Black consumers represent about 3% of our book of business. Today, that represent, in terms of customer base. And today, that also represents only about $50 million worth of sales out of $750 million. I think by 2025, and then ultimately 5 and 10 years out, that will represent a growing percentage of our business. I think that if we're looking 5 years out, that would be 25% plus of our business. Will significantly close that wealth gap for Black Americans, and will simplify life insurance. And those are some of the key drivers that we think will get us to $1 billion of sales by 2025, and then ultimately in the next decade to get to $2 billion.
Wonderful. Well, Kevin, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I just want to point out that we talked to a lot of people, and everyone has a different view on how they can make the life insurance world a better place. And it just seems like you guys are looking at a lot and positioning yourself well over a wide breadth of the American landscape for life insurance. So it's very impressive, and it's very exciting for what the next 5-10 years are going to bring for you guys. So it's a pleasure speaking to you. And if there's anything else you want to touch on, the floor is yours.
Well, I could go forever. I love talking about our industry. I love talking to you, and I love talking about Prudential. But I would just end by saying, I think the life insurance industry is really transforming. I mean, there are loads of examples out there, not only just Prudential, but even our competitors that are doing things to, increase the awareness and the education around life insurance. And I think that's a really good thing. I think that's a healthy thing for our industry. I think all of us rowing in the same direction to try and serve the uninsured, underinsured populations to help get insurance in more people's hands, I think is only a good thing. Many of us at the carrier level participated in a campaign a couple of years ago with LIMRA that was really driven by LIMRA, and it was really targeted at education and awareness and closing that insurance gap. And I think that's promising. I think there's a lot of my competitors that are probably working on similar things, and I think that's good. I think it's good to have a purpose, and I'll speak on behalf of Prudential at this point that we are a purpose-driven company, and why we are in business is really to help solve the financial challenges and help expand insurance, investing, and retirement to those that need it. And when you have a purpose, when you have businesses that align to a purpose, and your purpose is driven by, really helping people and helping society. And when society and people do well, your business does well. I think all those things are really good signs, and really one of the reasons why I'm proud to be at Prudential, and why I'm so proud of our team for working on this and staying so focused on it. So, well, Trent, thank you so much for having me today. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. And I now have to pivot and talk to all of our agents that please follow, like, and subscribe to these, because the more you participate with this, the more leverage we have to bring in people like Kevin, who are driven by purpose to create a better future for not only just the life insurance industry, but the financial services industry. And then through that, hopefully our society as a whole, as Kevin has talked about here. So participate. It gives us more potential to bring in wonderful people like Kevin. And I can't thank you enough, Kevin, for coming on and joining us. So I'll talk to you soon, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine.